So this is technically the third video on the review for the test. So this is the third section. The latest one we learned, which was geometric and arithmetic sequences. So number 19 and 20, they tell you that it is geometric. What does that mean? That they have a common difference or a common ratio? Common ratio. Now you don't need to verify it. They already tell you that they're geometric. So if we look at number 19, they want us to find the next three terms, the next three numbers. So let's first find that common ratio because it's going to help us to find the next three numbers. So how do you find a common ratio? It says right here on the board, to find R, pick a value, then divide it by the previous value. So what do you guys say the common ratio is? -6. Very important they actually do the work here. Pick a number and then divide it by the previous number. So you could say 24 divided by -4, or you could even write it 24 divided by -4. Either way, your R equals -6. Now, why is it important to find the R value? Because that's how your numbers change from one number to the next. In other words, if I look at this number -4, how do I get from -4 to +24? I actually multiply it by -6. -4 times -6 is +24. And then how do I get from 24 to -144? Well, I multiply by that common ratio, -6. So everybody with the calculator, you could just verify that right now. 24 times -6, and you'll see that it really is -144. So if I want the next three terms, I'm going to use that common ratio to get to the next number. So how do I get to the next number? I take the -144 and then I multiply it by -6. And when I multiply it by -6, what do I get? We get 864, and that's the first part of your answer. Remember, you want the next three numbers. So then again, take 864 and times it by -6 again. So multiply it by -6 again, and we're going to get our next answer, which is what? -5,184. And let's find the third and final number. Multiply it by -6 again, and we get what?
31,104.
Everybody agrees with these numbers? So this is it, guys. They're asking us for the next three terms. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. We didn't even have to write the a sub nth rule. We're just finding the next three numbers on the list. And the way to do that is to identify your common ratio. You need that common ratio in order to be able to find the next numbers. So number 20, let's find that common ratio. Once again, your common ratio, you find it by picking a number and dividing by the previous number. So ladies and gentlemen, what is your common ratio?
1/6.
1/6. Perfect, right? Now, you could have done 12 over 72, or the easy one, 2 over 12. So 2 over 12 reduces down to 1/6. And it's so important to understand that the common ratio is 1/6 because that's how the numbers change from one number to the next. So if I were to take 72 and I ask myself, how do I get from 72 to 12? Well, that's because I multiply 72 times 1/6, which is the same thing as dividing by 6. But I don't want you to think divide by 6. I want you to think multiply by that common ratio, which is 1/6, even though it's the same thing, right? So the next one, 12 times 1/6, that's how we get to the next one, 2. And then 2, how do I get to my next one? I need to multiply 2 times 1/6.
1/3.
You get 1/3. Now, if you don't know that math, 2 times 1/6, put the 2 over a 1, multiply the top with the top, bottom with the bottom, you'll get 2/6, which reduces down to 1/3. And yes, that is your first of the three next terms that they wanted. That's the first part of your answer. Okay, now I need to get the next number. How am I going to do that? Multiply that next number, 1/3, by your common ratio, 1/6. And what do we get as the next answer?
1/18.
1/18. Jezreel, you're on fire, huh? Good. And then how do we get the next one? How do we get the next one?
1/18 at 1/6.
You multiply that 1/18 once again.
100 over. No, it's 154.
by 1/6, and we get 1 over 108. And those are the next three numbers on this sequence. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. And then we're going to have some easier questions like just, is it arithmetic or is it geometric or is it neither? And you have to give a reason. So 21, what do you guys say? Arithmetic or geometric or neither? It's arithmetic?
Yeah.
Why is it arithmetic?
The common difference is 6.
Because there's a common difference, and the common difference is 6. That's right. How do you find whether it's arithmetic or geometric? You pick a number and you divide it by the previous one, or if it's, that would be the common ratio. But we'll see that the ratio is not common, so then you try a common difference. 13 take away 7, that is 6. 19 take away 13, that is 6. 25 take away 19, that is 6. So there is a common difference. So this is arithmetic. And for 22, so that means this one's geometric or what? I don't know. Let's find out. Is there a common difference here, or is there a common ratio? Common ratio. Okay, so I heard you say divide by 2, but we want to write it as 1 over 2, right? Yeah, multiply by 1/2. So the common ratio is 1/2. So this one is geometric. Why? Because there's a common ratio of 1/2 between your terms. And the most fun part of this last section is when they tell you that it's geometric and they tell you to write an equation that actually produces this list, and also tell you to find a specific term on this list. So they tell us that this is geometric, and let's find the R since it's geometric, since they tell us it's geometric. I want to take this number and put it over this number. So what is my common ratio? -8. Okay. So that's my common ratio. If I want to write the equation, I need to have that a sub nth rule memorized. It says a sub n equals a sub 1 times the common ratio to the power of n minus 1. So I hope you guys have that memorized already. If not, I hope you have it memorized by tomorrow. And also by next week on the midterm, this comes out as well. So what does a sub 1 mean? You guys remember that? What does this mean? That is your first number of your sequence. So that would be a sub 1 up here. That would be the number 3, on the first number on your sequence. And the common ratio, we just said that the common ratio is -8. Okay? So we have enough information to write the rule, and that's half of your answer. So we have a sub n equals, the first number on our list is 3 times parentheses. The common ratio is -8, and it is to the n minus 1 power. This is it, guys. You get a point for that. And the beauty of this is that this is the machine that actually produces this list. So if I did plug in the number 1 right here where the n is at, it would actually, when I do the math, it would actually give me the answer 3, the first number on my list. If I plugged in a 2 for n, that would actually give me the second number, -24. If I plugged in a 3 for n, it would give me my third number, 192, and so on and so on, right? So let's go back to the rest of this question. That was the first part, finding the equation. The rest of this question says find the 9th term. So I need to find a sub 9. That is just the notation. And this notation, what it's saying is I want to take the equation a sub n, and I'm just going to plug a 9 right into it. So a sub 9 is really 3 times -8 to the power of 9 minus 1. That's what the notation a sub 9 means, that I'm plugging in 9 in place of n. Okay, so up on my exponent, I have 9 take away 1. I'm just going to rewrite that as 8. So I really have 3 times -8 to the 8th power. And then we have this awesome little thing called calculator. You just type it in and get yourself an answer. Go for it. Get some.
I think I have some. That's a really big number.
I have 50,331,648. All right.
That's what I got.
There you go. That's the answer. Now let's go for the last one here. Again, they tell us it's geometric. They give us the sequence. They want us to write the rule. So let's write down the rule. A sub n equals what? Let's write the first rule before even plugging in. A sub 1, parenthesis what? What's inside of the parenthesis? Common ratio to the power of n minus 1. That's good. We have to have this memorized. Okay, so do we know a sub 1?
Yes.
What is it? Negative 108. Do we know the common ratio? 1/3. How do we find that? You pick a number and divide it by the previous. So negative 12 divided by negative 36, a negative divided by negative is a positive, and 12 over 36 reduces down to 1/3. So your R is really 1/3 if you reduce it correctly. So let me write my equation. A sub n equals a sub 1. We said that's the first term, negative 108. And we have the parenthesis. Then we have the common ratio that we said was 1/3 after reducing. And it is to the n minus 1 power. That is half of the points right there on this problem. Now, my voice, sorry. Woo! Like I said. Yeah. Should I? I'm still recording. It's all right. I'll leave it. Okay. So it says find the 7th term. So they want us to find the 7th term. The correct notation for that would be a sub 7. Again, that's just the notation for me saying that I'm going to plug in 7. So I have negative 108 times 1/3 to the 7 minus 1. And we all know that 7 minus 1 is 6. So on the calculator, negative 10. What is that? Let me erase that. Man, I am just losing it. 108, 1/3 to the 6th. Calculator time.
It's 1 over 729.
1 over.
But then you multiply it with 108, so it would be.
So, ladies and gentlemen, with the Casio calculator, you end up with this nice, beautiful answer. It's not that beautiful if you have a Texas Instrument. It does not give it to you as a fraction. So if you did have a Texas Instrument calculator, let's say you didn't get a Casio calculator, then you would have to probably work this out as negative 108 times, and you'd go 1 to the 6th and then 3 to the 6th, distributing that power of 6 to both of those terms. And with the calculator, what's 3 to the 6th? So 3 to the 6th is 729 on the calculator, and it's underneath the 1. And over here we have negative 108, and we have to multiply it. So we put this over a 1, multiply top with the top, you end up with negative 108 divided by 729. And if you continue to reduce and reduce and reduce, you will get that answer. So that's the end of this video. Test is tomorrow. And this test is great actually for preparing for next week's midterm. So please make sure you study.